Hello. We've talked about just using templates, but I think it's fair to show you what the coded view would look like. So I wanted to take a moment and actually show you a coded email. So as you go through, you would go to your design and get your design manager. Now that you're in your design manager, you'll have your templates and coded files. We're going to be trying to do coded files. So as we click into here, what we want to do is to build a coded file. And specifically, we want to just do an email. So I'll click in the right, New Coded File. You come up with your dialog box. Now what we've done in the past is just go to Template Builder. But we want here now to create a coded template for our email. So we will select Code Editor and we'll select Email. Then Create. It's going to ask you where to create it. So we want to put it into our email folder. And I'm going to place it, since this is live code that I want to show you, on our student association page. So what I want to do is to just call it new email file so that you can see that, and click Save. When you do that, it will generate the shell to start with. And you've seen pretty much all of this already. So what you have for your shell is an HTML page. So we have our doc type, our HTML and our end HTML, our heading and our end heading, a body and end body. So none of that's really new. You know about the title and the meta descriptions. The interesting thing is we've started to look now at inserting dynamic code. So we're putting in our Hubble statements. And remember, two braces says go get that value versus a brace with a parentheses, which is an if then else logic. So what we're looking at here is inserting in the title our content, from our content, the HTML title and our meta description, and the standard includes for our footer. So that's the shell. Now I'm going to delete it right now because I want to show you a completed template. So I want to go back to our AIS student organizations in our email folder. So I'll select email and I'll select the coded files we have for our student association. Just to show you what it'll look like, I'm going to select the first one, which is our Big Data Challenge. I'll go to Preview. And you can see what this email looks like. We have our web version at the top, which we've put into our template, a greeting or personalization at the top, some heading information, a quick blurb to generate interest, a picture, and then some more information. In our information, we have two columns, and we have a call to action button. At the bottom, at our almost footer, we talk about our chapter. Then at the email footer, we've placed in the ability to unsubscribe from emails and edit our preferences. So we have our standard canned spam. So let's back up now that we see what the email we want looks like and what were the coding steps. Remember, we started out at HTML. Well, the first thing we did is we changed some background color. We've done that, so there's no big deal for that. Then we have our heading, our title, and we put in our style sheet here. So hopefully we can see we went and built our style sheet, and we have a global section, and you can see there's our @media to make sure it fits on mobile. So we've built a lot of styling. Now you can see starting the inserting capability as well for, like here, the class equals. Let's continue down a little bit more. So hopefully you're starting to say, wow, this is not totally simple. I have to really know it. And the answer is yes, you really would have to have a good handle on your cascading style sheets, a good handle on your HTML to do it. But you have enough knowledge that you could take someone's template and edit it. And that's what we're looking at here. So I can start to see, well, they're using tables. And that's a common thing you'll see in the emails, is to make sure things are centered, since we don't have as much control with external cascading style sheets. You typically have to go back to the old-fashioned way of building structure, which is tables. So we have our row, and then here we're starting out at our preview text. Then our top bar. So this code is all about a table to build the top bar, which has our view web version and our greeting, and we say hi. And then here you can remember we're using Hubble code to insert from our contact database the individual's first name. So let's go back at our preview and take a look at that top bar. Just this whole line of code right there, the hi and the web version, required that code. Let's continue down a little bit. So again, hopefully you're saying, well, it's not simple in the fact that I couldn't do it off the top of my head, but hopefully what you're saying is I'm capable of modifying this quite easily because I understand table, I understand rows, I understand cells, I've worked with inline styles, so I know what those mean. So hopefully what you're saying is, I see the chapter newsletter and they're spanning, so they're placing that color on that AIS newsletter, nothing on the date. All right, I could change that. So if I happen to be the webmaster for this group, I could say, well, geez, they have October and I don't want October on this coded one. So all I'd have to do is go into here and say December. And then when I preview it, when I save it and preview it, it says December. So I can modify that. Well, there's that image. Well, wait a minute. I know how to do image tags. That's not hard. Well, where are they getting the image from? Well, they went to my file manager and just pulled a URL to show where that is, and they scanned to get the general icons. You should be able to modify that then by saying, well, gosh, I can go to that location, and gosh, I could probably get different icons. And you're correct. So let's continue down and look at the content then. inside of. In the content inside, we have the top part. So I'll bet you're looking here and saying, you know what, that's probably maybe a header tag. Click here, I'll bet you that's a anchor link tag. Let's see if we can find those then. Table rows. Wait a minute, they're inserting a table inside a table. All right, so the first table covers the entire width. The second one says, you know, I'm going to try to make it smaller. All right, does that make sense? Well, yeah, see, we can see this is the area, and there's the full width. So we have a table inside a table. And what are we looking for? Well, we can see our anchor tag that I'm going to link to the student organization page. Well, I could change that if I had to change what page it was on. Well, what other things could I be looking at to change? Let's continue down. And we have this image that we're looking at. Well, really, what is it? Well, if I scan through here, I could see the full page. I can see the image is fitting inside of a 60 or 600 pixel. So the image, the full page, the image is fitting inside this 600. All right. And there again is my link to the image. Well, that's just on our file manager. I can do that. Let's continue down. All right, here's the content. And I can say they are using paragraphs, receive email and ebooks. Well, that's not hard. So they didn't even use a unordered list. They just used paragraphs, and they chose a special character, because remember special characters start with the ampersand and end with the semicolon, and then have some sort of set of codes in between. So they built a paragraph, they margined it, top, right, bottom, left. So they margined it so I have spacing. They put a color, and they put this special character, which is the check mark, and then they placed the text. So they didn't even use an unordered lists here. They just used paragraphs. Well, I can do that. All right. I've used that email body when I was in the template, so I kind of get the idea what you're doing. Let's go back and look again. So here's the elements. Well, where's that call to action? Let's keep scanning down. I'm not in the column 2. We had column 1. There's our column containers. Our column 2 is here. All right. Our column 3 is here. All right. And there's my containers. And right here is the call to action code. Well, I didn't write any of that call to action code. If I remember right, if I go to the call to action, it has that embed. If I do the embed, all I have to do is copy that code. Now I know I can go here, go to the embed, copy that code, and just place it here, and it's already pre-written for me, and I don't have to modify anything. Correct. All right. So we've got our call to action, and then let's look at the bottom pieces. Then there's our bottom pieces to do the and then we put in our footer here. So while I would never expect you to be able to write this code from scratch, I definitely would expect you to be able to go to that code, not touch it to begin with, but explore it. Maybe not even know what the Hubble structure is, but to say, I can change some of these because I know it's in my contact database and I can pull those out. That I could go in and say, the height and the font size, I could probably change those. The background colors I could change. So while it's clear it's not as easy as the template, where you build your template, then you build your content, the two-step, it's definitely within your grasp to change, modify, and update this file. So when you would do something like clone from a template, and let's go do that. Let's go to Design Manager. Let's go to our template here that we built, action, clone to file, in the email, and we place it in our AIS, and then clone it. You can see there is the HTML code that was cloned from our template, so that if we, for whatever reason, and I don't know why, but if you wanted to, you could see the styling, and we'll continue down. And that ends the body tag. So we have 400 lines of code for the heading. Then we have our body tags, where again, look at that, we're working on tables. I could do that. All right, I got that. Let's take a look and preview it. Yeah, I got it. Okay. Well, the images are going to be in a certain spot. So hopefully what you're seeing is that you have the ability, if it's cloned, to go in and modify the code directly. Hopefully the other thing that you're seeing is, gosh, if I don't have to do it, why would I ever want to do this? And that hopefully is what you're going to walk away with. This is the idea that, yeah, I can do it if I have to. Yeah, I can modify it if I have to, but there's nothing magical behind the scenes. The only thing magical behind the scenes is it's complex, and it'll take me longer to figure out, and that's why you don't want to use, or that's why we do not recommend you go through and use the coded files. Hopefully that helped, so that you had a chance to see the actual coded files in place, and hopefully you understand why we're using the template builder. Enjoy!